If your goal is to retire early and achieving financial freedom, then electronics is one of those things that you should be careful with, whether you are thinking about upgrading or even buying new. Watch this video to the end so they can see what kind of things you can do to overcome this. There was a survey done by CNBC and was published beginning of this year, January 2020, a few months ago, right? And this is the survey was done with a sampling size of 2,000 Americans. So look at the screen now, and you can see the result of the survey. It says that from this survey that there is, for those who are aged between 50 to 59 years old, more than 50% has less than $100,000 in their retirement fund. And for those who are 60 to 69 years old, it's still very bad, right? And it shows that about only 40% has less than $100,000 in their retirement fund. With just $100,000 in our retirement account, is it possible for us to retire? At least comfortably anyway. Well, if you calculate on your monthly expense, $100,000 won't take you very far. Maybe 5 years? Probably that's all you have. So that's why it's so important for us to plan for our retirement. On top of that, if you intend to retire early, then this plan is something that you must be thought out, and it's not something that is left to chance. So that's why it's so important for us to plan even now. When we talk about electronics, more specifically electronic gadgets, we need to be very, very careful. Why? Because a lot of us are emotionally attached to things like that. Not only that, especially for guys. Guys, we like to look at specifications and this and that and what it can do and things like that. It is especially true when we're talking about our mobile phones. Our mobile phones has evolved over time. Instead of being just for making phone calls, it has also now evolved into something to do with reflect our status, reflect who we are, and that's why we are so emotionally attached to it. And when we come to mobile phone, you know that a lot of times, a lot of us upgrade our phones very often, especially when you see our friends, when we go out with our friends for a meal or something like that, and they will whip out the phone, their mobile phone, and you will hear that, wow, that's the latest iPhone, or that's the latest Android phone. And we are so, wow, emotionally we are so affected by it. And what happens with us? We want to aspire to buy the next one, the new one, right? So as a result, many of us will upgrade our handphones maybe for a year and a half. And what happens to our old phone? Well, those of us who are a bit more enterprising, you probably will be selling it on eBay or something like that, right? But the rest of us, it's probably in a drawer somewhere. What's the use of a handphone? What's the reason we have a handphone, a mobile phone? What's the use of it? Well, for a lot of us, the reason we get a mobile phone is to make phone calls, be able to communicate with our loved ones, our friends, or even for our business, right? We use WhatsApp, we use all kinds of things on the phone to use it. And of course, some of us, other things we do is that we take photographs, selfies, and things like that. What's the difference between your phone and the phone that's coming out in a year's time? Well, the chances is that it's no different. You can use the same thing, and probably you can use it equally well. There is no different. For me personally, what happens is that this is my older phone that I have. It's still okay. I could have kept it. I could have used it. But I found that something that I was doing that is not suitable for me anymore. One of the things I've upgraded now to the phone that you are actually, I'm actually using my phone to record this video actually. Why I upgraded is actually because of video, and it's because of photographs. Because I know this older phone of mine, just don't cut it. And that's why I upgraded my phone. So for you as well, this is something that you have to be careful with, right? Because if you keep upgrading your phone every year or something like that, potentially what happens is that you will have to keep taking out money from your salary to pay for it. If you've been watching my video series, you know that there are certain concepts that I totally believe in. And one of them is talking about the salary that comes into our pocket, or more specifically, go into our bank account. Every month, when this salary comes in, a certain portion will be taken away that we need to use to pay off our commitment. And one of them, in fact the biggest chunk, is actually for our housing loan. And I actually have made a video on this, and it's up there. Go ahead and watch it after this, of course. Then the second part of the salary that we normally will use, that we will pay off, is then our car loan. Again, there's another video that I made on car, and just watch it after this, okay? And so as you start to go through all the expenses that we have, one of the things that we will start minusing from our salary is actually the expense on electronics, like the mobile phone. And because the latest mobile phone with the latest features and the one that gives us a lot of status tend to be very expensive, some of us will put into our credit card and then we pay on a monthly basis. Others, what we do is, instead of paying the full amount of our credit card, we just pay minimum payment. And that is really hurting our future, sabotaging our future. So you have to watch out. Things like the mobile phone is something that you have to be very, very careful. In fact, I would want to propose that you hold on to your phone right up to it kaput, it is spoiled, right? It could be maybe when the battery is no longer working, or when the screen is already giving you trouble. Why? Because again, like I said, if possible, delay all these expenses. The idea is that how you can be able to retire early is that you are able to put away money that you have into investments that will give you a passive income, so that you can retire early, at the same time achieve financial freedom. If you like topics like this, and also how you can achieve financial freedom and retiring early, and also learning about wealth creation strategies, start right now by clicking on the subscribe button here and click on the bell, so that when I come up with new videos, you'll be notified. I think it's Will Smith who said this: too many people spend money they haven't earned to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't like. So are you like this or not? That you're spending money that you probably have not earned, probably you're actually spending future money to impress people that you don't like. What's the point? So that's why you have to do things differently now that you are aware of this situation. The next thing that you need to watch out for is actually the big screen TV. So sometimes when we go and visit our friend's house, right? We visit their home, and then they invited us over for a drink or something like that, or for a Christmas party. And when we get into the house and we see them, they're having a whoa, when you see there's actually a 50-inch TV, but you have a 40-inch TV in your home only. And you say, wow, look at it, it's fantastic. Whoa, your heart is affected, and you are emotionally impacted by it. So then guess what happened? Probably in the next 1 month or so, your house will have that 50-inch TV. And then maybe 6 months down the road, you get invited into another friend's home. But this time, your eyes grows big because now he has a 60-inch TV. Whoa! Your heart goes, wow, you know, and you want it. And this is something that we need to watch out. Our emotion is totally involved in a lot of these kind of things. And I think that every time you have the kind of feeling, probably you have to come back and remember, what is your goal? What is your goal? And remember that your goal is to be financially free, to be financially independent, at the same time that you will be retiring early, that you want to retire early compared to all your friends, all your peers. So you need to keep reminding yourself every now and then when your hands gets itchy and your emotion is all worked out because you see your friend is having this and your friend having that. Those are things that you need to, you need to hold on to your emotion and keep reminding why you are doing this, why you are not buying that latest handphone, why you're not buying the latest large screen TV. This is the thing that you need to put out in your mind. The next thing that you need to watch out for is actually the sound system of the large screen TV that we just talked about just now. Every now and then, you get invited by your friends to maybe watch a football game together in their home, or maybe even get invited to play computer games together. And what happens? You get into the home and you sit at the couch and then you look, wow, that large screen TV, oh. And as you watch the game, all the cheers, ooh, and stuff like that. Wow, you look at the sound system. And what happens? You get emotionally involved in it and you say that, oh, I really need to have this in my home. That's when you need to stop. You need to remind yourself what your end goal is. And your end goal is to retire early and also to achieve financial freedom. I had also created another video on how you should be buying your car, and it's up there. And also, I encourage you to subscribe and click the button here, and also click on the bell. So whenever I come up with new videos, you'll be notified.